What's up, Starcraft fans? In a few years, AI will become so good that it will take my job as the number one co-op content creator in all of YouTube. But for now, it's still kind of dumb, so we can still kind of make fun of it. So I have asked ChatGPT to rank all the StarCraft II co-op commanders from best to worst, and it has actually done so based on a bunch of these tier lists, actually. We have Evelyn Nicole with us today, so we can help actually evaluate how good or bad ChatGPT did in ranking the top commanders. Evelyn, how are you today?
Sore, but excited to do this tier list to see
Sore?
what ChatGPT comes up with.
Doing what? Okay, don't answer that. So I actually didn't ask ChatGPT to make a tier list. I just asked it to rank the commanders, and it made a tier list. Can you believe that? Not following instructions. Already a bad start. See, here's the prompt: rank the StarCraft II co-op commanders from best to worst, and it did a tier list. Who does that? Who makes tier lists even these days? Anyway, so let's actually read what ChatGPT said. Ranking StarCraft II co-op commanders from best to worst is subjective. Okay, good start, right? Varies based on
Yep.
factors like playstyle, map, and mastery level. However, community consensus and performance across various missions and mutations can provide a general tier list, so you can kind of get a sense here that ChatGPT based its rankings on missions and mutations, though it says it based it on uh, missions and mutations. Based on these images, this leftmost one appears to be general use. The one in the center right appears to be one of my tier lists, I think. Right? It looks like one of my tier lists. And I do not recognize the one in the rightmost. Do you recognize this one?
No clue.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think about the overview that ChatGPT did?
Yeah, overview is right. I'm just kind of a little surprised it didn't mention prestigious. It should be up to date with that. So
You think ChatGPT is up to date on prestigious?
I would imagine so. If it's pooling from information regarding tier lists and especially if VR content, we've talked about a lot of prestigious. So it should have that data set, I think.
All right. So far I am not out of a job yet because this thing does not talk about prestigious. Awesome. Win for humans. Let's begin. Actually, look at this. It has a trophy icon for S tier top performers. It even has the S tier stuff. Can you believe that? So, the first one, Abathur, excels in biomass collection, leading to powerful late game units like Brutalisks and Leviathans. His versatility and adaptability make him a top choice for many players. The source is Blizzard Forums +1. What do you think about this?
Just that line leading to powerful late game units. So they should have put the cap. You should put the caveat there. You have late game units in the early game. So otherwise, yeah, not bad.
I think my impression of what it says about Abathur is it says a lot of correct things, but you can kind of tell it's AI because the things it says don't connect with each other. Abathur doesn't excel in biomass collection. Abathur does biomass collection. No one else does it. Just because he's the only one who does it doesn't mean he excels at it. And the actual collection of biomass is a player skill, not a commander ability. So I wouldn't say it excels at biomass collection. Abathur does biomass collection. So see, little things like this can, if you're attentive and you're critical in your reading, you can tell that it's not a human saying it or an actual player saying it. It's someone who listens to people talk about StarCraft II co-op, who doesn't himself know StarCraft II co-op, and just is very good at memorizing things that they hear, like someone who has a photographic hearing memory. That's my general impression. Anyway, yes, Abathur does buy a mass collection, leading to powerful late game units like Brutalisks and Leviathans. And as you said, Brutalisks and Leviathans are absolutely early game stuff. I wouldn't call them late game units. You could maybe call them heroes. I mean, heroes would be more appropriate because just because a unit is powerful doesn't mean it's late game. The Haka comes out 1 minute. The Haka is not a late game unit by any means. Kerrigan, Zertul, Alarak are not late game units by any means, but they are very powerful. So I wouldn't say that these are late game units. I would just say these are very powerful units. See, things like that. It says things like late game without actually understanding what late game means. It's not Brutalist is not late game units. That being said, yes, it does say quote unquote correct things. It just doesn't say them correctly. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Yeah.
His versatility and adaptability make him a top choice for many players. I think if you rearrange this, how would you rearrange this last sentence to make it make more sense?
It's kind of like when you read astrology or zodiacs and try to predict someone's fortune. So this is just the last sentence, just one of those taglines that can apply to anyone who's in S tier.
So you're saying it's just
That's
fluff. It's just
it's
fluff
fluff.
that tries to sound smart. I think if you
Yeah.
rearrange this, you can make a sensible discussion point here because yes, he is versatile because he has stuff like Vipers for crowd control. He has early game powerful units like Brutalist to anchor the first few waves. He has Toxic Nests. He has Detection in Overseers. He has biomass that makes his units more powerful. His army, like Swarm Hosts, like the Devourers, Mutalisks, they become powerful because of biomass. Adaptability. Would you say that Abathur is a particularly adaptable commander compared to the other commanders?
He has more tools to deal with things. Like let's I mean, without getting it too deep into the weeds, but comparing him to other commanders, let's look at Vorazun or Kerrigan. I would say Vorazun and Kerrigan are a lot less adaptable. So Abathur's variation of units allows him, yeah, he's much more adaptable than that.
Yeah. The thing that gets me here is top choice for many players. I think Abathur is a very skill-based commander. You can do a lot with Abathur if you are skilled in collecting biomass, if you're good with macro, if you are excellent in your biomass greed, if you just feed one unit, if you can control stuff like Vipers while having a main army and Brutalisks in a separate control group, you can excel with Abathur. That's why I think the way this should have been worded is his versatility and adaptability became a choice for many top players. Because I think top players would find a lot more utility in Abathur relative to other commanders than will mid tier or lower tier players relative to the same other commanders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if that's the case, a top choice for many players, we definitely know who that is, and that ain't Abathur. So yeah,
Yeah.
for top
Okay.
players, yes, not yeah,
Is there
why not?
anything else you would like to add here?
Um, it's it sounds like you're taking a combination of what Blizzard has uh, described Abathur as, and then taking a few snippets of, I guess, commentary of what people say on the forums or Reddit, and make an amalgamation and then add some fluff to it.
Yeah. If I were to add one sentence to give this a more complete picture, I would include saying something like, well, I would leave the first part. Does biomass collection lead to powerful, lead to a powerful late game, but has a potential to get a strong early game by getting units like Brutalists and Leviathans. That's what I would do, so I can cover
Mhm.
like make this sound more like a human wrote it. More like an actual
Mhm.
guy who does a lot of co-op rather than just what AI would spit out and just throw out there, just combining things that have been said about Abathur. Anyway, that's about it. Let's move on. Zeratul offers a wide range of strategies, including powerful abilities like Tesseract Cadence and Void Templars. Interesting choice. His adaptability to various mutators and missions places him in S tier. Morecore.blog.se. SE is Sweden? Is it?
Oh no.
Is it a Swedish domain? Or I think it is, right? Anyway, what do you think about the Zeratul portion?
It's it sounds like they're keying on you can do static defense or units or both. So that's a good thing because that's kind of what Zeratul is known for. Um, I mean, he's also known to do just hero solos, but that's a very niche point that someone in particular does. His adaptability to various mutators and missions places him in S tier. Again, last sentence is fluff.
Uh, Actually, yeah, it sounds exactly like the same as the last sentence in Abathur, right?
Yep.
It even
Yep.
used a lot of the same words. His versatility, his adaptability makes him
Yep.
plays him in the S tier. It's basically the same sentence, just reworded. Isn't that crazy? I wonder how many commanders will have the same exact use of this this last sentence. Offers a
We can
wide range
keep
of
on going and
strategies.
find out.
I think yeah, once again this appears like something that that ChatGPT just stole off of various things that players have said about Abathur without offering a coherent story about Zeratul. Here's an example of what a human might say about Zeratul. Zeratul scales up based on the number of artifact fragments he collects, making him increasingly more powerful as the game goes on. That sounds something like a human would say because it creates a story. It gives you something to follow, and there's a point to what it's saying, rather than just taking stuff out of a textbook, pasting them together, and then submitting them as a book report. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
The
my general
wide
feedback.
straight,
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the wide range of strategies. I mean, if you take boil it down, it he has a lot of tools, but it doesn't create that many strategies. Like, how many
Zero
different
tools.
strategies would you say? Yeah, we. I mean, for for your tier list, we we usually default to cannons is good. It's like he has a lot of ways you can mix and match things, but it's usually his best strategies are like one or the other. And so, like, how many people make use of the stasis beam? So that's definitely not really a viable strategy, but you can mix it in. Avatar, I would say, would have more strategies, but because that of how Zero Tool's toolkit is pretty diverse, it's just throwing this in there. In my opinion, that's why it's saying offers a wide range of strategies when it's not really
Yeah.
in practicality, not really used.
I guess what
Sorry to
seems
interrupt, but
off
go on.
here. I guess what seems off here to me is that it says wide range of strategies, but only offers two such strategies. To me, that doesn't scream width of options or like wealth of options. You need to offer at least five different strategies to be able to say that yes, this guy has so many viable strategies. Like I can name five right off the bat. You can do hero solo. You can do the legendary legion. You can spam legendary legions with gas units like shield guards. You can do blink ambushers. You can do of course cannon's good. Wait, did I say cannon's good as the first one?
No, you haven't.
I
No.
haven't. So
Yeah.
you can go cannon's good. You can go like cheese strats by just having the Anaksun, the super cloak, and then just have drop immortals and void templar snipe objectives. That's five strategies. And that really shows that Zeratul does have a wide range of options for different missions. And this validates saying that he has a wide range of strategies instead of saying, yeah, he has two options or wide range of strategies including these two options. That's how I think a real human would talk about Zeratul instead of, yeah, he has wide range strategies. These are the two. And what gets me here is it doesn't even say how these abilities are used. They just say, yeah, Tesseract Cadence and Voice. Though I guess I'm also kind of guilty of that because I do say, yeah, Cadence good, because it's already implied what I mean by Cadence good. But
Yeah, we are very guilty of that.
yeah, the thing is, it doesn't really. I don't know. When we say Cadence good, we kind of already imply that the strategy is like just teleporting them across the field. Whereas I don't know, maybe it's just me, but reading Tesseract Cadence on ChatGPT doesn't give me the vibe that you're supposed to teleport them across the map and have the shields absorb the damage instead of the actual cannon. Maybe it's just me. What do you think? Is it just
I
me?
think, I think, in all fairness, we are we are making those we're kind of cutting things short in the interest of your viewers. We don't want to drag the video on and re-go over why the cannons are good and how you should be using it, what hotkeys you should be putting on. We're leaving a lot of the details, and
Yeah, that's true. That's
that
true.
that, that also applies to ChatGPT. I mean, if you're looking at these first few examples, it seems like it's constraining them itself to two sentences to summarize everything, and that's not easy to do. So
That's
for what
true.
it's doing, it's not doing a horrible job, and it's trying to make things succinct so it can bring the viewer in, and maybe it elaborates further down. I'm not sure, but it's enough. It's enough. It could be a little better, but just like humans, we're not perfect either. So
That's true. It does give a general idea of what options you have as for the commander, but in my opinion, it still doesn't give enough of an idea. Like,
mhm.
it only gives you like a tip of the iceberg sort of feel, rather than a general view. Like a tip of the iceberg just skims the surface. You see one part of what there is as a whole, whereas there are ways to describe what he does in two sentences by still giving a whole view of the iceberg rather than just the tip. Like a more holistic and general view rather than just taking parts here and there and slapping them together. I don't know. That's what I feel. I don't know. You guys decide. Am I out of a job in regards to Zeratul, or do you think that a human would still
I
explain
don't
this
think so.
better? No,
Yeah, a human is still needed.
for
Maybe
Zeratul at
maybe
least.
give it 5 years from now, maybe.
Yeah, 5 years maybe we're out of a job. Dahaka, strong early game presence with powerful hero units. His ability to evolve and adapt makes him a formidable commander in variables or in various scenarios. What do you think about this one?
This one is just fluff. Is If he didn't say the Haka, I yeah, you can confuse this with Tychus. You can confuse this with Phoenix. Um, who else has multiple hero units?
For me, the dead
Yeah,
giveaway is the word evolve. I don't know anyone else who would who would lean into the evolve and adapt. Like they didn't take this out of co-op; they took this out of the campaign,
hmm.
and that's what
I
I
mean,
think.
you can apply evolve and adapt to Abathur too, but again, the second sentence is fluff as always.
That's true. So it can be ambiguous to Abathur and Dahaka. And I think I agree with you. The early game presence powerful hero, yeah, that applies to a lot of commanders and is not specific to Dahaka. And this is what I'm saying. The chat GPT just takes stuff here and there and slaps them together when they're mentioned frequently enough. but it doesn't really know what the Haka does. It just hears about what people talk about the Haka about, and it just slaps together common sentences and words and just throws it out there. And I think if I were to improve this, I wouldn't really change that much, but I would give dead giveaways that this is definitely the Haka. For example,
Hmm.
the earliest hero unit in the game with the potential to consume enemies, to grow, and gain new abilities, health, and damage to still be extremely useful in the late game. There we go. That's the first sentence. I would say that's a huge improvement to the first sentence of the Dahaka portion. Wouldn't you say?
I would I would like to add one major uh, mechanic to Dahaka that you didn't even mention either.
Yeah.
So they kind of mention it's the word is in there, presence, and presence, you can't make presence without essence. So that's a major mechanic to the Haka. The fact that they don't mention that, at least for Avatar, they mentioned biomass, but whereas since that's key to the Haka's you growing the Haka. So yeah,
Do you think? Do you think they just do you think they just use the word presence and imply that it already includes essence because it's ChatGPT
that's
doesn't really
a
understand words?
yeah, that is a curious thing. I'm kind of curious what your commenters think about it.
Yeah, I would like to know what you guys think. Anyway, I think I'm definitely not out of a job for Dahaka. Of course, I don't know. I think if I were to make someone who is completely new to co-op read this, they would be none the wiser. And that's what really scares me
Yep.
about AI, because to us, we know what co-op is, so we can tell. They're easy tells that this is not actually helpful advice. But for someone who is new to Starcraft II co-op, reads this like, sure, that makes sense. Sure, yeah, this is great. This is a great guide. I can learn from this.
Yeah, it's a great introductory, but I think a very interesting headline I just read. They said AI is screwing over people who are taking the bar exams. Bar is the exam that you take to become a lawyer,
Yeah,
and so I think that's a good analogy of what this is. This is good for people who are just entering, but if you're going to take on like brutal six mutations, this is definitely not for you.
I would go so far as to say that if you were a 1v1 player and you you're just dabbling to co-op, this won't help you at all. I don't think, because it doesn't talk anything about units. It doesn't talk anything about builds, about strategies. It's just, I guess it doesn't even talk
Fluff.
about specific units other than what is mentioned in Abathur and Zeratul. Anyway, let's continue. I guess Tychus high burst
Yep.
damage and strong hero units make him a dominant force in many missions. His versatility and power are highly regarded. Yeah, this is this reads like the Haka. Dominant force in
Yep.
many missions. Yeah, it actually, read the second sentence. His versatility and power are highly regarded. Compare that to the Haka. His ability to evolve and adapt makes him a formidable commander in various scenarios. You can literally exchange the second sentence of the Haka and Tychus, and it would be actually the same. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's making good use of the synonym features in on the web.
ChatGPT is an essay writer. It's not a guide. It's an essay writer. Oh
Yeah.
my Donnie. Anyway, the best part is yet to come, actually. But what do you think about the first sentence?
Tychus high burst damage. I'm not sure if I would have associated him with that. Strong hero units, yeah, of course, but it's like uh, there's the subtlety that okay, so Phoenix doesn't have, well, I mean, they're classified as hero units, but we call them champions. Uh, Dahaka has pack leaders. Tychus has outlaws. There's no mention of the word outlaw at all. At least Dahaka, they tried to allude to essence with presence, but yeah. I would say Tychus is better known for um, high
Outlaws.
sustained damage. I wouldn't say burst damage, high sustained damage. If you want to talk about bursts, we're talking. I think Alarak is better for bursts.
I think what this prompt means, this write up means about burst damage is Tychus's grenade thing. Maybe it
Mm-hmm.
counts as that. I would
Yeah.
say that it doesn't stand out particularly compared to the sustained damage, as you mentioned, that you can get with Tychus's regular attack and Sirius's turrets. They're seriously good. That being said, yes, there he does have some burst damage. The grenade for Tychus, the demolition charge for Crooked Sam. I guess
And
those
Odin.
count as burst damage. The Odin, the nuke, big red button. Yeah, it kind of does apply, but if you look at it more critically, it's not higher relative to his, or it's not higher than his sustained damage relative to other commanders who also have high burst damage. Like the high burst damage is not what makes Taika stand out here. I would argue that he should have opened with strong outlaws, not even hero units, strong outlaws, and I
Mm-hmm.
would even go so far to say without the need of an actual army to really highlight how Tychus plays. Although, again, if we are talking among peers, if we're talking among co-op players who are already experienced with the game, and we just need a ranking, we ourselves wouldn't talk about the lack of a need of an army. But do you think do you think if ChatGPT entered into a conversation between us and says these things, would there be an immediate tell from Tychus that it's AI, not human?
Oh, we would rip into it and just say you're just saying words.
Well, we know. Well, here's a different perspective. If a human were to say this, and you weren't thinking critically, you could get fooled. Like
Yep.
if
Yep.
yeah, that's the thing. You can get fooled by this. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
we're still technically not out of a job because this is still, I wouldn't say high. I still would not say this is high quality review or summary of what makes them S tier top performers or where they are ranked. But this can fool people who are not really into StarCraft 2 co-op. They can just say, yeah, he has
Oh,
0.
absolutely.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt. If you, the thing is, you and me right now are giving this, I guess, maybe about 80 to 90% of our full attention.
That's what we could
And
easily
if you're,
spot the tell that
yeah,
is AI.
you're just telling us while we're driving or preoccupied with something else, we're like, yeah, yeah, that's sure,
Yeah.
whatever. And
If this is background
until
noise.
until probably until probably like the third or fourth um, commander, then we'd be like, why does this all sound the same? Then
Yeah.
things would start.
It does sound
Like
all the
if you
same.
just look at just one of them in isolation, then okay, yeah, we'll pass it off. But once you start looking at the whole picture, it gets a little. It's like, tell me something that I don't know.
Exactly. Let's go with Arcturus. I think this is the biggest one. This is the biggest tell that is AI so far. Offers a mix of powerful
Hmm.
units and abilities, including the Aegis Guard and Pride of Augustgrad. His versatility. Look at this! It's the same exact second sentence. His versatility and strength make him a top tier. It's literally the same sentence. So I
Yeah.
guess we're just gonna
What
go off.
two key characteristics that make him sound appealing and tell and say this is what makes him an S tier commander?
Sorry, is that a question to me?
No, 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 no. That's I'm making that as a statement. As that's what it's doing is every last sentence is take two characteristics make a synonym of them compared to the rest, and then say that's why it justifies them as a S tier commander.
That's exactly what it sounds like, and that's not even the biggest tell to me. The biggest tell to me is that
Mm,
it talks about Aegis Guard and Pride of Augustgrad. It doesn't mention nuclear annihilation. It doesn't mention Earth Splitters. It doesn't mention Earth Splitters. How could you talk about Arcturus and not talk about Earth Splitters? It doesn't talk about
yep.
bunkers. It doesn't talk about inhumanity. What are we doing?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean,
I think yeah, go ahead.
not to take not to take away Aegis Guards and Pride of Ozgrads are good,
They're
but
iconic.
they're yeah. The thing is, Minx's kit is so large, and to a certain extent, because his kit is large, it's hard to encompass all that into one sentence. So they're going for things that stand out, and I guess units. Maybe ChatGPT is locking in too much on units and not looking at everything else that supports the units.
It's not even
Maybe,
that.
I don't know.
He has amazing units, but think of it this way. You ask someone to describe why a Ferrari is a great car, and it comes back saying, "Well, you see the side mirror is very shiny." That's what it feels like. Yeah, sure, you're
That's
right,
fair.
but
That's
that's not why. That's not why the
yeah.
Ferrari is a great car, right?
Oh, that leather trim! It makes it the best of the best of the best.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I immediately raise my eyebrow when I read this portion of Arcturus. That's I think as for Arcturus, I think I'm definitely safe in my job for now. Stukov brings a unique blend of Zerg and infested Terran units. His ability to overwhelm enemies with large numbers is a key strength. Ooh, what do you think about this one?
So the the last sentence is actually not fluff. So that's actually pretty spot on.
Right?
Now the first sentence is where it screwed up. Brings in a unique blend of Zerg and Terran infested Terran units. No, it's mostly just infested Terran units.
It is
It's
mostly just infested
no
Terran.
real.
I mean, he
Yeah, I mean
has
you
brood
you can
queens, he
the
has
Brood Queen,
overlords.
but yeah, that's definitely not even a highlight there. It's mostly
Exactly.
just you're playing Terran, but it's infested, and yeah, different, a little subtle different mechanics but for the most part, it's playing Terran.
How would you change this to make it sound like a human wrote it? Literally just remove two words, Zerg and.
Yeah, yeah, brings
Then
a unique blend of infested Terran units that have different mechanics than your standard Terran. His ability to overwhelm enemies is large numbers is his key strength.
I'm scared now. This Stukov part scares me. I might be out of a job for as regards to the Stukov portion. Now,
The aspect to think about is there's a lot of data points online about Stukov. I mean, that's why he's one of most players' favorite commander to play. So its data set is a lot more refined in this, I think.
yes. Now, I was going to mention that it doesn't mention one of the most important aspects of Stukov play, which is infested bunkers. It says units. Bunkers are not units, they are structures. And in that regard, I think I'm still safe because that is the most important thing to mention about Stukov, or at least one of the most important things to mention about Stukov. But
Now,
this
it
is
can also
already,
be argued that infested bunkers can be turned into units.
I guess. Oh, by the way, the
Yeah,
Apocalypse
so
is also a Zerg unit, so there we go. Anyway, I think Stukov is the best one so far, or rather, the best written so far.
yep, yeah.
And that's why I was lulled into a false sense of job security when reading the Arcturus portion, and then oh my Donnie, I'm getting frightened by what it spits out for Stukov. And it's still not as good as a human, but it's getting close. It's getting scary close. Oh my Donnie,
Hmm,
look at this A
I don't think
tier.
so.
Not you don't think so? Awesome. Moving on to A tier, strong choices. Alarak known for his powerful ascendance and the ability to sacrifice units for strength. His late game potential is significant. though he requires careful management. This one's a little more on point. Although I
Yep.
can kind of tell this was written pre-Prestige, right?
Yep.
This was
Yep.
this was written
Exactly. That's
pre-Prestige.
exactly my analysis of it too.
But if you put this out in 2018, this would be really good, right?
Yep.
He does require careful management. He does have
Yep.
significant late game potential. He has powerful ascendants. But this is
Yeah. And
2018. We knew this in 2018, 2017 even.
yeah, last sentence is a little fluff, but some realism. So I like it.
Yeah, this is really good. I might be out of a job with regards to Alarak if this were 2019. But prestiges exist now.
Yeah.
So the mothership would be should be at least a major portion of this, at least mentioned. Phoenix utilizes powerful purifier units and has the ability to switch between his different combat modes. His versatility and strength are notable. What do you think about? What do you think about this? I mean, we all know now at this point that the second sentence is basically the same across everyone. Well, just to a lesser
Yeah.
degree for these A tier guys. But what do you think about the first sentence?
Oh, the first sentence is pretty spot on for Phoenix. The second sentence is like, "Oh, come on, you're doing good with Alarak. Why couldn't you just maintain that?" But yeah,
Exactly. This is more of the first section fluff that you read. Ooh, apparently I can check the source for these guys. Oh my Donnie. Yeah,
but yeah, I
apparently
looked at it. SE is Sweden.
Stukov.
You're right.
I like how he's the fusion of Zerg and infested Terran. This is how we got the. Oh wait, that's not for. Oh, Zerg and infested Terran. There we go. Here's how they got ChatGPT to mention that Stukov is Zerg and infested Terran. Look, according to the Blizzard forums, Stukov,
Yeah.
I like how he's the fusion of Zerg and infested Terran. So he literally just quoted stuff without verifying whether they are reliable sources. And that's another scary thing about AI. With a spread of bad information, not even intentional. A lot of stuff you see on the internet isn't written with bad intent. It's just bad expertise by people who are supremely confident in their ignorance. And that trains ChatGPT to just mirror what it hears. In a way, ChatGPT is a victim of social media, just repeating what he hears on the internet. Oh my Donnie. Oh my Donnie. Use it legally as powerful purifier. I guess I like the mention of purifier units, but it doesn't mention
Hmm.
anything about the champions. The champions are
Yeah, it's implied,
unimportant.
unfortunately.
No, I don't think so. He has purifier units. I mean, immortals are powerful, carriers are powerful, but they're not champions.
Are champions purifier units? Yes, they are.
But not all purifier units are champions.
Exactly.
I think you have to mention if you're talking about, you have to mention at least a champion. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least a champion, even if you don't mention champions in general. Anyway,
Yeah. No, I mean that's what separates someone who actually knows co-op and knows the lingo rather than just making general statements, which is what Chat GPT is doing.
I would like to edit what you said a little bit. I mean, you were onto something there, but I would say that ChatGPT knows the co-op lingo. It just doesn't understand it. It knows the
Mm,
words. It's just not comprehending them yet. And I would like to
that's fair.
I would like to, for my sake, as a content creator on YouTube, not have ChatGPT understand it for a long time, so I can keep doing what I do. Because can you imagine how useless my videos would be if ChatGPT can just understand co-op? You wouldn't go to me for content. You would just run up ChatGPT and have someone who has a better voice, a better personality, read what ChatGPT said. Because let's face it, I have the personality of wet cardboard and like the voice of like uh slightly raspier golem. That's what it is.
I
So
think you need to give yourself a little more credit than that. But
okay,
the
slightly sexier
the
golem. There we go.
complex the complexity of it is, so all AI needs a lot of data sets in order to go through it. And the thing is, with how dynamic the tier lists have been, if we did like, let's say, a tier list for Sharna House and did maybe 100 different takes of that, or 1,000 different takes of that, then I would expect maybe it has the large language model to actually start extrapolating nuances of the lingo for it.
Yeah.
But because we're just doing one-offs, I don't think it has that capability to extrapolate correctly, at least until the next AI breakthrough happens.
Yeah. How about Stet Boy? Focuses on mechanical units and the unique Super Gary. The unique Super Gary. His, his ability to adapt and build powerful armies makes him a strong choice. Oh my god. Let's just not talk about the second sentences.
Not the second sentence ever.
It's
Okay,
literally just
so
fluff. Yeah.
what I want to rip on this, just in general, Stedman in A, not S. What the hell, ChatGPT? Like, come on, you've seen the tier list.
I
You
need a source
you
for
you
this.
you've already cited the material. What the hell? So focuses on mechanical units. Yeah, duh. All of his units are mechanical and unique super Gary. Yeah, that's not false. Um,
I feel like
but
this is just ripped straight
yeah.
out of his Wikipedia page.
Mhm.
Like an introduction, sure. And I do like the addition of Super Gary, but I don't know. It doesn't tell me anything about why he is A tier. I guess if you even mentioned anything about how Super Gary is used, or how powerful Super Gary is, or at least mention him first, this would be more believable. But yes,
Or even
yeah.
the key feature in Stedman, his stet zones. There's no mention of that.
Yeah, you're right that Stetson is a key feature. Although that being said, I would say that Super Gary is keyer, if that makes sense.
Well,
He
the other aspect, Super Gary wouldn't do crap without the stet zones.
I mean, in second prestige.
I mean, yeah, definitely in the second prestige. In the other prestiges, he would be hindered significantly because overcharging those stet lights is pretty major.
That makes
The
sense.
healing, it would be gone. The fast movement speed would be
Yeah,
gone. It's like, so
yeah. I
they
guess
go
that
hand
makes
in
sense.
hand.
That makes sense. All right, I guess we can take that. It would be nice if this thing mentioned about the immortal Zerglings, the hardened shield Zerglings. That's one of the things that makes them most resilient in computations, and it's not even
Mhm,
mentioned here. But
mhm.
again, as someone who creates content about Starcraft II, I'm pretty happy that a ChatGPT isn't that good. Nova
Yeah.
offers strong single target damage, and tactical abilities. Her versatile. Okay, what do you think about Nova's first sentence?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. We're talking about high single target damage. We're talking about Nova. We're talking about her raid liberators. Yeah, if it's keying on those two things, that's kind of what we know Nova for. But she also has high multiple target damage with a nuke, high multiple target damage with a Griffin airstrike. But yeah, I guess that falls into tactical abilities. Her defensive drones are fantastic abilities, and you got to use them wisely. Because I don't have any beef with this first sentence.
Well, I do because I think Nova's single target damage, while it's good, yes, I don't think it's a defining characteristic of her. I think, especially now in the Prestige patch, you can talk about Nova's Super Cloak with a third Prestige and how she can go on offense unopposed, basically, in a lot of the missions. And yes, you can still go Liberators, but you still have a bunch of abilities that make you viable and maps like Minor Evac and Dead of Night that require a lot of splash damage. Those would be the Penetrating Blast, the Seeker missiles, the airstrikes, as you mentioned, the sabotage drone, as you mentioned, nukes, as you mentioned, and the railgun turrets from the Ravens. So I think she's not just single target damage, and I don't think that the the mention of single target damage does her justice. Yes, she does have good single target damage in the form of Liberators, but I wouldn't call it a defining characteristic, because the single target damage is not in any context here. If you say that she has amazing objective sniping ability rather than single target damage, I could accept that, but because of the way this is worded, I don't think single target damage means anything, because it's just words that talks about what she has, but it's not useful information. It's just data. It's not information. If you say that she can snipe abilities, or she can snipe objectives very effectively, now that's information. That is useful. And even though it has the same, it talks about the same unit and has the same element, it's more practical. It's information. It's useful rather than single target. Okay, what am I gonna do with single target damage? I don't know. Just fight some infested with single target damage. Yeah, see how that does, right? Yeah, fight
Right.
those scourge with your single target damage. Go ahead. Just watch them crash into the temple and destroy it with your single target damage. That's
I
why
think
yeah.
I think in all fairness, so far in everything that we've covered so far, I don't think Chat GPT is has any data on prestiges yet. So
Yes, but
yeah,
that's not even what
trying
I'm
to
saying. That's not even what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm saying that ChatGPT just keeps copy pasting words and sentences that are technically correct, but don't
Mhm.
offer helpful information. They're not information. They're just copy pasted. They're just data. They're not information. They're not useful. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Anyway, Vorazun
Yep.
specialized in
Well,
stealth. Yeah, go ahead.
to be useful, we're gonna when we're useful, we're not limiting ourselves to two sentences. And in all
Oh,
fairness,
come on.
the
You can you
only
can
thing useful is one sentence. So I
you
mean,
can write
yeah, we
you can write two sentences about Nova that are extremely useful to new players. Want me to do it now?
yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's we can write more useful sentences, but if you want to get into the real usefulness to your beginner to new players, then yeah, we're going to require much more than just two sentences.
Hmm. I think when you talk about I think when you talk about usage of two sentences, we can write two sentences about Nova that will make them more useful, much more useful to new players than anything ChatGPT could ever write, or at least could write in its current state. Do you agree?
Mhm.
All right. So I think
Yes. Yes.
that's the only thing I'm saying. This could be. All I'm saying is this can be written way better, in the sense of this can be way more useful, with using the same number of sentences. Anyway, let's move on. Vorazun specializes in stealth and time manipulation, with powerful Dark Templar units. Her ability to control the battlefield is a key strength. Huh? This time, I like the second sentence. It's still fluff, but
Same here.
yeah,
Same here.
the second
Yeah, the
sentence.
second says is spot on. Specializes in stealth. I guess it doesn't matter in co-op. Not really, because Amon just spams a bunch of detectors, so that really kind of doesn't matter
Yeah.
too much.
Nova
Time
specializes in
manipulation,
stealth, right? Not
yeah,
Vorazun.
does
Nova
much better.
specializes in stealth.
Hmm. Time manipulation, yeah. Time stop. Otherwise, you could kind of count stasis as time manipulation, but uh, I don't know if that's a major thing to note in her kit. I would say crowd control.
Crowd
Crowd control
control, yeah.
is,
I think
yeah,
if
not time. I feel like so.
I think if you change a couple words here, like just find synonyms of these, this would be really good. Instead of saying specialized in stealth, you could just say runs a runs an army consisting primarily of cloaked units.
Yep.
Instead of just saying specialized in stealth, because yes, they are cloaked, but you don't use them stealthily. You use them
Yeah.
as your main army. Time
Yeah.
manipulation, you can just say, as you mentioned, time stop, black hole, stasis, stun with the maelstrom, stun with the centurions, shadow fury. Lots of means to control to manipulate the field. And yeah, just change those two things. This would be a very helpful. Very. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Just change those two things. This would be very helpful to know as a new player, and I would think twice about uh or rather I would give a consideration to saying that this chat GPT write up is helpful if it were more like the Vorazun section. This is one of the better ones, I think. Raynor
Yeah.
provides strong support and versatile units. His ability to adapt to various situations makes him a reliable commander. Yeah. So, Vorazun, we talked about the second sentence is not that much of a fluff. For Raynor, both sentences are fluff. Right?
Yes. Yes. This is. I've been seething as soon as I read this. This is utter trash.
Oh
This
yeah.
is this represents nothing for Raynor. Look at the source, Reddit. Um,
Good job,
this
Reddit.
is
Good job,
this
Reddit.
is this is horrible. And the fact that Raynor is an A tier in a general tier list. Hell no. What the hell are you thinking?
I want
This
to
is
read where this
just
came from. Sorry, I
this
gotta
is
read.
this is utter garbage.
I'm looking for sources of
And Callaghan,
Jemson.
Zimson. I wouldn't be surprised if it's pulling from Jimison's data. He's been a big Raynor sympathizer for a long time.
Sympathizer.
Say that Raynor or
No, it's not.
advocate.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, thank you. Thank goodness.
It's not Jemson. I don't think. Huh. I don't think anyone actually wrote this. Yeah, no one
Maybe
wrote
it's
that.
pulling from.
I think it just combined various sections of this whole Reddit thread, which
How if you
makes
combine. I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of people that we know on there that are credible and they've put in the time of Raynor, and they would not say stuff like this
Yeah. I don't think I don't think
regarding
anyone
Raynor.
said these words as they are arranged. ChatGPT probably just pulled various words out of this gigantic Reddit thread, stuck them together, and called them Raynor. I
Yeah.
wouldn't
And place them in A tier.
place them in
Like,
A
come on.
tier. Ooh, look at this. It also pulled from Blizzard forums. Now that's more like it.
Yeah.
Cobb Commander's difficulty tier list. All purpose commander with different prestiges. That would sound like some
That applies to anyone.
yeah. Ex zombie, extra CCs. No. 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 Yeah, nobody said that. Nobody ever said anything about Raynor having versatile units or strong
Yeah,
support.
I think everyone's going to be able to agree. Even the commenters that say the Raynor, what ChatGPT says about Raynor is just utter garbage. So how would we fix it to make Raynor sound more credible?
ChatGPT is
For me,
ChatGPT
for
is
me,
uh for my Filipino
it is.
friends, here, china-char-char lang ni ChatGPT. He's just making stuff up. That's what it is. He just made stuff up. That's what it reads like. It's not information. It's not even data. It's just made up stuff.
Maybe in the
I
general
would
scheme
not.
of things, there's so little data on Raynor. Maybe it doesn't. It just started pulling whatever it could out of its butt
I would not even.
to
If you asked me to
fill in the run.
improve, its Rainer write up, I wouldn't even do that. I would just throw it out completely. I would write new sentences. That's
Yeah.
what I would do. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's move
So
on.
what would we write for Raynor that would be much more credible?
I wouldn't put him in A tier.
Oh yeah, same here. Same here. I
Uh,
would say Raynor has the potential for a very high
Here's
damage
what I would
output,
say.
but his units are very, very flimsy.
That's true. I would say that. But I would lead with Raynor is a commander who is actually fun to play. There's a certain charm and appeal to just mashing the marine button on your 5 barracks and then mule hammering your mineral line and then just throwing stuff at Amon. Of course, after sniping the siege tanks, the High Templar, the Reavers, the Colossus with your Hyperion. You just watch your Marine Flood just wash over Amon. For me, it's satisfying and fun to do that. I don't know for other players, but it's fun. But I wouldn't say he's powerful. Anyway, let's move on. B tier, look at that. Crossing swords. No muscles in it. No muscles though. Kerrigan offers strong Zerg units and powerful abilities. Her adaptability and strength make her a solid choice, though she may require more micromanagement. You know what? The second sentence is better than the first.
It's not flop. Yep, agreed. It's like, duh, she's Zerg. Okay, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Powerful abilities, yes. The the thing here that is a dead giveaway is it talks about Kerrigan as if she's a basic Zerg race, which kind of sounds like how a 1v1 player would talk about Kerrigan. Because I've heard guys who are 1v1 players say that Kerrigan's basically the closest thing you have to 1v1s. No, she's not. If you know how to play Kerrigan, you wouldn't say that. You would say, completely throw away the first sentence, has a powerful hero unit with virtual omnipresence thanks to her Omega Worms and a powerful crowd control ability called Immobilization Wave that clears a lot of units in a 30 unit radius. That's what I would use as the first sentence for Kerrigan. Never mind her units, they're an afterthought. Right?
I wouldn't say her units are afterthought, but I would say her units support Kerrigan with very substantial amounts of DPS to add on to her once she gets past her early game.
Okay. I would say afterthought. Let's move on. Artanis provides strong Protoss units and abilities. Oh my Donnie, it just copy pasted the Kerrigan and replaced the Zerg with Protoss. Look at this.
Yep.
Look
Yep.
at this. His versatility and strength are notable, though he may require.
No, they're not.
Oh my Donnie. It just copy pasted Kerrigan. Throw that in the trash. Next. Zagara
Yeah.
focuses on overwhelming enemies with large numbers of Zerg units. Her ability to sort opponents
Okay.
is key strength. This is passable. This would
Yeah.
pass as
It's
something.
better. It's better than the Artanis one for sure.
Yeah, this would pass as something a co-op beginner would write, but still someone who has played co-op. So I'm scared. I'm kind of scared because this will improve the more ChatGPT knows about Zagara. But as for
And
now,
again,
yeah,
it there's a lot of data on Zagara because Zagara is a commander that a lot of players flock to.
Yes. Though I guess the one thing that I still have is bio launchers. We still have bio launchers. That's my that's
We
ace up
will
my sleeve
thank
as
you
well.
Tutu. We will always have our beloved file launchers.
All right. Han and Horner specialize in aliens and mercenaries. Their ability to adapt and
Okay.
build powerful armies makes them a balanced choice.
Okay, that this is where the
Ooh.
second sentence really messes up.
Well, I feel like it's just making stuff up again. Although it has correct things. They have mercenaries.
Yeah.
They have air units. Well, do
Yep.
they specialize in air units? If I think about it, if you just
Not
look at their
really.
toolkit as a whole and build the same number of each unit, you would technically have more air units because magmites are technically in the air. The call in the fleet,
Strike fighters are in the
the
air.
air strikers are in the air. Ravens, battle cruisers, yes, those are air. The galleons are air. Yes, those are areas. But would you actually have? I guess in certain prestigious, if you mass battle cruisers, that's probably where this is coming from. And in that regard, this can be something that a human would write, but a human would add more context, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So
if maybe if a human only played like Han and Horner to what level 5, then yeah, I'd say
yeah, this
somewhat
is
passable, maybe ish.
this write up is similar to how those AI images would look photorealistic in some areas, but would look uncanny valley in some others, like the
Hmm.
non-blinking, for example, or blurred background, or the intense stares, the non-movement of parts that should move. I think that's what this feels like. Yes, there are a lot of correct elements, but there's still that uncanny valley element of it just not feeling right. You know, it
Yeah,
just
it's my general impressions when dealing with AI. They give you information, but you always sense there's a degree of it's trying to maintain vagueness because it knows if it delves too deep, it's going to give you wrong information. So it tries to always word it so that it's vague.
you know what job ChatGPT can immediately replace right now as of today.
Press secretary for the president of the United States.
Let's not go there. I'm trying to keep. Let's not go there. Let's go something with something more like what I was thinking is fortune teller
Oh yeah,
because
fortune teller or dating compatibility. Matchmaker. Yeah.
matchmaker. That's what I would replace with ChatGPT because it feels like the way ChatGPT writes exactly how a fortune teller would predict your future. Be as vague as possible and just wait for confirmation bias on the things that you said that sound innocuous enough to be extrapolated meaning out of or something. C tier, niche or situational. Swan focuses on mechanical units and structures. While powerful, he may require more micromanagement and may not be as versatile in all situations. Yeah, these are all correct, but I would say that Swan's macro is harder than his micro. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
say? He requires
And
units, he requires supply, upgrades, yeah, research, tech labs.
there's some degree that that can be argued if you're doing hurt drop shits, but not too many people do that. Micromanagement, race require to play race properly. You do have to micro them. You do have to stutter step them in order to keep them moving. Is that really that difficult compared to his macro? And Swan being in C tier, Oh, that's this again
I
gives
think
me. I mean, granted, I'm looking down and I see Carrack's in C tier too, so I'm getting the vibes again. This is way is
pre-prestige.
done is pre prestige. Yep.
Yeah. Karak specializes. Speaking of, Karak specializes in defensive structures and support. His strength lies in the ability to bolster allies. Yeah, definitely a pre-prestige one. And notice for Swan and Karax, their actual top bar abilities are not mentioned. Swan, no mention of the laser drill. Karax, no mention of the spear of Adun. That is
Yep.
they're defining their iconic characteristics, and this is something that an AI would definitely miss because they don't understand how a commander plays. They just see
They never played a game.
they never played the game,
They
and
never played a game.
they just know that Starcraft II is an RTS game, and RTS games have units. Let's talk about units and structures and support.
Yep.
They don't understand top bars.
Aegis Guards, Pride of Ozgrad, not ESOs, because we don't know what those do.
Because StarCraft is an RTS, and RTS is all about units. Yes, you just want more units, nothing but units. And look at this. Look at this. We're back to Hot and Horner. Because I think
Yeah.
it's because.
So they're in B tier and C tier.
Well, it makes sense because there are two commanders.
They're-
So
Exactly.
ChatGPT took the meme of Hot and Horner being two commanders literally. So it went in two separate sections.
That would be scary if that's how its neural network isolated that out.
That's so funky. While versatile, they may not excel in all situations and may require more. This is worse than the last one. Look at this.
Yeah.
They may not excel and also may require more strategic planning. What about being balanced? What about ability to adapt and build powerful armies? What happened to that?
I'm kind of wondering if ChatGPT knows, okay, past this certain point, the readers are not going to care so much, so we can be a little more liberal with what we say.
Look at this.
But we just gotta fill in the gaps.
Look at this. Look at this. D tier. We're back to
Yeah.
Stukov. So
Yeah.
Stukov is simultaneously S tier and D tier.
And D tier at the bottom of the list.
His-
While unique, his playstyle may not appeal to all players. That is a complete lie. We know all players. They want to
Everyone
do it
loves
the most.
Stukov.
They love laziness.
Although
You want to play auto battler? Stukov is your auto battler.
the last sentence, he may not be as effective in all situations. Yeah, fluff.
Yeah.
That applies to
Yeah.
everyone. Karax, his reliance on defensive structures may limit his effectiveness in certain scenarios. No, he's not. Well, I guess in like 2017,
In pre prestige. Yeah.
pre prestige, 2017 era, 2016 era. So, okay, yeah, 21 commanders. ChatGPT is awesome because he has 21 commanders. We humans only have 18 commanders. Oh my Donnie. This tier list is based on community discussions and performance across various missions and mutations. Individual experiences may vary, and the best commander often depends on personal playstyle and mastery. Experimenting with different commanders can provide a more personalized understanding of their strengths. You know what? I'm ripping this sentence. I'm making Brian say this after every tier list. You know, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna rip this sentence and I'm gonna make Brian say it after every tier list. There we go. All right. Finally,
As your disclaimer, your tier list disclaimer.
yes, my tier list disclaimer. What does the voice do? Can I make it read this aloud?
Yeah,
Failed to play
You
message.
should be able to.
It says failed to play message. Oh well.
Is it
It doesn't
because you
Nope.
maybe Discord is interfering with it?
Maybe. Oh well. What are your final thoughts about ChatGPT and whether or not I have to fear being replaced by an AI in the near future?
Oh, there's no fear of that. But this was entertaining. It's refreshing to see where it is and its infancy. Definitely, it'll be very interesting to redo this maybe 5 years later and see if it improves. It should. Um, how much it improves, if it gets onto our levels. I think, in my opinion, it's probably about eight 8 to 10 years away to replacing us.
My feedback is I'm frightened. I'm scared for the community because the content on YouTube is infested with content farms full of channels that just rip off stuff from ChatGPT, give it an AI voice, give it some AI editing, and produce tons of videos daily and just flood the sphere with non information such as this and give new players a bad idea of what it is to play StarCraft II co op. That's what I'm scared of. You see the quality of the writing here. It's not information, it's not helpful. We had like two commanders who were actually semi helpful throughout this entire list of 21 commanders. And the scary part is, remember Toxic Spill? The guy who made
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote guide videos and tier lists of commanders? His videos have way more views
Amplified.
than mine because his videos are well edited. He reads them well. He has more personality, and he has better presentation. So if you rip off this tier list, make a dozen of these a week, give them AI editing, and flood the space, you'll drown out the actual human creators who know StarCraft II co-op, and people would rather watch those highly edited, better produced videos than the actual information. And that's not just me saying it. It's the viewer count. Those videos have way more views than anything I produce these days. Even counting the tier list, I get like 1,000 views a week from those tier lists. And you see the videos made by guys like Toxic Spill get tens of thousands. It's scary, man. So much misinformation out there. And again, not knocking on Toxic Spill. He didn't do it intentionally. He has the purest of intentions. He has the purest of attempts. He really gave it an honest attempt. But like someone who just wants to make content farm of a StarCraft II co-op can do this. Flood the space with bad information or non-information and just get all the views just because the videos are better produced. That's what I'm afraid of about AI. What do you say about that?
That's what AI kind of does that to general news already. So it's it's like, okay, let's be realistic. The StarCraft II is no longer being supported, so not a game with a hugely massively growing community. Yes, there are new players, but it's the amount of new players that every year as time goes by is going to be less and less.
So you're
But
saying
you could you make this analogous to our everyday life of getting right information, and that's the real scary part. It's as CT is saying, is you were going to get flooded with so much fluff and crap that you don't know what's real and what's credible anymore.
yeah, and the
And
thing is,
definitely.
it's not just being inundated with wrong information that is harmful. Just reading this, we spent over an hour reading this and we didn't learn anything from it. It's just it's not okay. There are very few things that are factually incorrect about this. 90% of the things mentioned here are true, but they're not information. They're just not arranged in a helpful way, and uh, they're not helpful. They're not information. They're just fluff, words rearranged in a certain way that would say, yeah, yeah, those facts are true, but that's not how you rank them. That's not what makes those commanders that rank, right? So it's not just the fact. It's not just wrong information. It's just that it's just non-information. The way that wastes an hour of your life reading it, contemplating it, thinking about it. You wasted your time. It's not information. Isn't that depressing? And we get flooded with more
It
and more of
is.
those highly edited, those well produced videos that are non information that just waste our time. We spend time like and we don't know because the thumbnails on those videos are well made by AI. They have fancy sounding they have fancy sounding YouTube channel names, and they're non-information. They're just time wasters, and they just farm money for those content farms. It's kind of sad. Oh my Donnie.
It is. But on the other hand, this has made me appreciate what you have created with the tier list and all the
And
video
you.
content that you provide.
And you
Yeah,
with your
well,
help.
it yeah, well, well, you're the one who's doing it, but besides the fact, it's like it. I've seen a lot of feedback from your commenters, from people on Discord, from people in game, and they've learned quite a bit. And compare your videos that gives a lot of information that maybe even maybe 1% of players know, and people appreciate that. Whereas this hasn't produced anything of substance at all.
Right? And I guess the
Yeah,
silver
so I
lining here, this is something you mentioned. The silver lining here is that a game as dead as Starcraft II we'll have so few new players that even if you flood it with this kind of content, it won't do much because like only a few people will be affected anyway. So there's silver lining. We're too dead to be killed. All right,
yeah.
guys, that's the takeaway. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for asking, please leave it in a comment. I'll see you guys next time.